Simon shows his boss a Slavic crossbow with an interesting message. The boss likes this weapon and decides to keep it in the collection. The man asks why the crossbow is so heavy, and the boss says that the weapon was created for using metal bolts. After some time, the policeman comes to the auction house. Together with his accomplices, he quickly neutralizes the guards, after which he hacks the security system. During the robbery, Van Helsing takes out a leech and injects its contents into his hand. Employee Salina notices an open storage and decides to go inside. There she sees many skulls with very fangs. One of the robbers suddenly grabs her, but then it turns out that the girl is in one group with the robbers. The man is unhappy with the loot. The girl assures him that with such a security system, there must definitely be something worthwhile here. The robbers approach the last door and find a coffin in the center of the room. Two of them try to open it, but accidentally knock it off the pedestal and activate a trap. The only exit is inaccessible, so one of the team is forced to remove the wall. The alarm is activated. Van Helsing grabs a gun and one silver bullet. Meanwhile, in the storage room, blood falls on the coffin and begins to be sucked in. The owner of the auction runs in there, but finds neither the coffin nor the people. Elsewhere, a girl named Mary wakes up from a terrible, incomprehensible dream. Simon asks Van Helsing about what happened. The man says that these were his personal belongings, which were acquired not entirely legally, so he will deal with the problem himself. Van Helsing asks him to take care of business while he is gone and leaves. Meanwhile, the thieves fly on a plane and try to open the coffin, but they do not succeed. The guy who is unpacking accidentally cuts his finger. The blood is drawn back inside, after which smoke begins to come out of the coffin. The man manages to open the coffin. Inside, he sees the body of a man in a knight's helmet. Then he finds a cross with a ruby. The man continues to search for something valuable, but suddenly the body rises, grabs him by the neck and pulls him towards himself. Another man comes to the noise and notices the knight's helmet lying there. He is distracted by the noise from the coffin. He opens it and finds a colleague. The vampire pounces on him from above. The body knocks down the door and Marcus and Alina see the contents of the box. After consuming so much blood, the vampire regains his original appearance and beckons the girl to himself. Marcus shoots at the enemy, but all to no avail. During the shaking, the bullet hits the plane's body and the light from the hole burns the enemy's body. With the help of dark magic, black clouds appear in the sky, enveloping the plane. The vampire jumps on Marcus, and suddenly Mary sees all this. First, she finds herself on the plane, and then the vampire appears in her room. He approaches her and calls her by name. A neighbor enters the room and brings her friend out of a trance. Mary goes to church to tell about her nightmares and asks the Holy Father about her mother. Maybe her dreams and her mother's behavior are somehow connected with otherworldly forces. The priest does not answer her questions. At this time, Van Helsing sees a story on the news about an airplane in which 4 bodies and an antique coffin were found. The bodies of the thieves, along with the antiques, were sent to the city. The man understands where he needs to go and sets off, but does not notice Simon, who is following him. At the very site of the crash, another shoot is being conducted. The culprit of the crash first attacks the cameraman and then captures the presenter. Mary again sees a strange vision with Dracula. Van Helsing arrives at the right place, opens the coffin, and sees that it is empty inside. He hears some sounds and wants to shoot, but sees Simon. The man says there is no time to explain anything and asks to believe him. Van Helsing opens the bag, sees Salina's body, and immediately takes out a weapon to behead her, but Simon prevents him from doing so. The girl jumps up abruptly and runs away from the open area. Another thief attacks the men, but the silver stake quickly calms him down. Van Helsing assures his subordinate of the need to destroy Salina. The man gives him his weapon. Simon finds it hard to believe in fairy tales about vampires. He decides to see what's behind the scenes and finds a man's body and is suddenly attacked by a shot vampire. The guy still manages to fight off the enemy. One of the bags begins to move. The guy takes out the handle with a blade, but does not have time to decapitate Marcus. The vampire is about to attack, but Cross prevents him. Marcus escapes. Meanwhile, Van Helsing finds his former employee, who begs him not to touch her. Suddenly, another vampire attacks the man. Salina goes to Simon to replenish her strength. The man fights off the enemy and shoots the girl against the wall. The sounds of sirens and a feeling of fear prevent Simon from finishing the job. Van Helsing says that Dracula, the most dangerous vampire in the world, was in the coffin. The man has been trying to solve the riddle of how to destroy the Count forever, for over a century, but to no avail. No weapon can kill him. The hunter tries to prolong his life by infusing himself with vampire blood, purified by leeches. Van Helsing shows a photo of Maria and admits that she is his daughter. The hunter has the blood of the first vampire, and the same blood flows in Maria's veins. The girl tells about her visions with an unknown man. She sees Dracula again and runs away from the temple. Everyone starts looking for Mary. First, the Count looks around the city and then visits Salina, who was captured by the police. After some time, Dracula finds the music salon where Mary works. He meets the girl's neighbor and asks him to help find her friend. She invites him home, but Mary is not there, so Lucy suggests waiting for the neighbor. Mary sees this in her vision. She goes to work and a colleague says that Lucy went on a date. The conversation is interrupted by Simon. The man says that he came from her father and that no one except Van Helsing can help her with her visions. Simon tries to persuade her to go with him, but Marcus stops him. A fight begins between the men. Marcus grabs a stake and gets a little confused, after which Simon defeats him. Meanwhile, Van Helsing comes to Mary, where he is met by an old friend. The vampire says that the girl belongs to him, and he will take revenge on the doctor. Mary comes home and hears a noise on the second floor. The girl enters a room with faulty wiring and notices something on the bed. She sees dirty pillows. At her feet, the girl notices someone's hand. Then she finds her wounded father. Mary grabs the phone, but the connection is interrupted. Lucy, who has become a vampire, appears behind the girl. Mary runs out and finds herself in a red corridor where vampires begin to crawl towards her from all sides. They talk about her blood and her relationship with Dracula. Simon comes to Mary's aid and shoots the vampire. Having learned of the death of his mentor, the man gives his daughter the diary. In it, she learns that 12 years ago, her mother learned the secret of the doctor's longevity and the peculiarity of Mary's blood. Therefore, she decided to take her daughter away from her father. Simon says that they need to wait out the night in some illuminated place, and the girl remembers the church near the cemetery. The man admits that the mentor gave him the meaning of life, so he will help protect her. Simon gives her the cross, after which the couple goes to the local library in search of answers. They are trying to find out why Dracula does not like Christian attributes and silver, but they are attacked by a vampire. Simon grabs the Bible, but this doesn't have a great effect on Dracula. The vampire cannot withstand the resistance and retreats. Mary tries to hide from her relative in the cemetery, but she is quickly found. The vampire says that he has been looking for a person like her for many centuries. After that, he dissolves together with the girl in front of Simon. The man tries to save the mentor's daughter and begins to fight the creatures. However, he lacks strength. Meanwhile, Dracula and Mary are on the roof. The vampire bites the girl, after which he lets her taste himself. Mary sees a vision and learns that Dracula used to be Judas himself, which is why he hates crosses and silver. Judas decided to return at sunset, but instead of death, he received immortality. The vampire takes the girl to his henchmen, who surrounded Simon. He orders Mary to bite the guy and completely transform. The girl bites him and takes out the handle with a blade. She asks to kill Simon since he will pursue them. Mary swings over Simon's head, but attacks the neighbor. Then she wounds Dracula in revenge for the death of his father. Simon also begins to fight. Mary tries to tell Dracula that Jesus loves everyone and even him, and he will accept Dracula into himself. The vampire gets angry and throws the girl into the cross. Mary grabs the sling, wraps it around Judas's neck, and jumps off the roof with him. The girl slips out of his hands, but the vampire powers don't let her break. Dawn comes and Dracula decides to let Mary go. He turns her into a human, then looks at his friend for the last time and burns in the sun. Time passes and Mary says that she has taken on the role of her father. Now she will guard the remains of Dracula for the rest of her days.